Hello, and in this video we'll be looking at the Unaligned sets from the recent Kickstarter. And as you can see, we've got 51 crypt cards and 39 library cards, and these are basically the community created cards that were previously only available as print on demands or proxies that you printed out. And this will be the last of the sort of 4 card sets that were released as part of the Kickstarter. So let's get all the shrink wrap off and start looking at the cards, and obviously we'll start with the Unaligned set number 1. Well, thanks for that. Abid bin Haji, Scholar of Mirrors, 4 icons, Camera Mirror, Blood Cursed, 7, we got 2 of him. Then the guy from the cover, Al-Hashrad, Amir of Almut, he's got loads of icons, he's 9 blood. Camarilla. During the first round of combat, Al-Hashrad can use strikes requiring I cannot pronounce this stuff today, that are not usable during the first round, Blood Cursed, and he's Assamite Inner Circle +1 bleed. Anam, 2 of her. Prince of Cordoba, Blood Cursed, 6. Flavia, Avenging Angel, Independent Blood Cursed, 6, with the 3 icons. Emana, loads of icons, 7, independent, 1 vote titled, gets +1 vote in referendum, she calls, again, Blood Cursed. Matiz Kazimierski, Biker of Blood, not many icons there. If there is Sabat and not Black Hand, can become Black Hand as a stealth action, costing 1 blood, and they have 4 blood. Omer, independent, Blood Cursed, 5, with 3 icons. Rebecca, 9, Camarilla, Prince of Athens. During the polling step, can discard a card requiring Auspex to get 2 votes. And again, Blood Cursed. Noticing a bit of a theme here with the Blood Cursed. Wise Frog, Camarilla, Wise Frog strikes you first strike with a younger vampire. Blood Cursed, 5. Brunhilde, Anarch Baron of Stockholm, 8 blood. The action to become Anarch costs vampires you control 0 blood. Can enter combat with a non-Anarch vampire as a directed action, and got a few icons. Now, you'll notice there's all sorts of extra icons on these compared to the starter set, and that's because they're a bit more advanced. And yeah, you can do all sorts of funky things with, I believe, duplicate copies of them. CJ here, he's a nice simple one, independent, 4 blood, only 2 icons. Dr. Sutton Gassaway, independent, 6 blood. Malcolm, independent, 2 blood with just the little animalism, I believe it is. Valkyrie, 4 of them. So independent, cannot perform a directed action unless Brunhilde is ready, so you need Brunhilde really. Non-unique, +1 strength, 4 blood, and the 3 icons. Winter Lich, you only got 1 of them, okay. Multiple icons, 7 blood. Winterlich can recruit a changeling ally as if he met the requirements of playing that card. While he is ready, changelings cost you 1 fewer pool. Adria, the Seeker, only 1 icon, 2 blood, gets +1 intercept against followers of Set, and thankfully it gives you a nice picture of what they are. The Lisbeta of the Dark Eyes, 7, independent, gets +1 intercept during actions directed at a Ravenous you control, and they got 4 icons there. Dieter, Cloudhair, independent, 5 with 3 icons. Dr. Lawrence Mayhew, independent, 6 blood. Iago Castile, Sabat, +1 intercept, 8 blood. Ivan, he's got loads of icons. Independent, equipment cost Ivan 2 fewer blood or pool to equip, gets +1 bleed, and you can also get +1 strength. 10 blood, nice big fatty there. Camentia, she's got 9 blood. Archbishop of Lisbon, can burn equipment or a location, and that costs 1 blood. And yeah. Sanjay, independent, 4. Vestigier, Sabat Priscus, loads of icons, 10 blood. Vestigear can play a political action card from another Methuselah's ash heap as if it were in your hand. That's not bad. When that card would be burned, instead remove it from the game and it's +1 bleed. So yeah, that's pretty good actually. Claudia, seem to only have one of them. 9 blood, Camarilla. If Claudia is ready, you can use a discard phase action to discard a card requiring Thaumaturgy to gain a pool, and you can burn blood to get +1 stealth, and only one of Bulska by the looks of it. 8 blood, Camarilla, gets +1 stealth during actions directed at a location or equipment, +1 strength, and can be the Prince of Budapest, and quite a few icons there. Then we get into our main cards, so 4 Bearskin, obviously needing some animalism and stuff. Only usable before range is determined. A vampire can play only 1 Bearskin each combat. This round gets +1 strength and can prevent 1 damage, or if you're superior, gets +1 strength and can prevent 1 damage each round. So it looks like we've got 4 Damn the Heart's River. So Frenzy, only usable before range is determined, can play only 1 Damn the Heart's River each combat. Each strike or damaging effect made against the opposing minion is +1 damage, and with superior as above, and this combat strike costs the opposing minion 1 additional blood or life, and they can choose not to strike. So Annoy's Theatre, it's a master card, unique location, lock to get +1 hand size this turn, lock during your influence phase to get +1 transfer, and again we only seem to have one of those. Focus the blood, 4 of them. Only usable before range is determined. A vampire can play only 1 Focus the Blood each combat. Put this card and 1 blood on this Assamite. The vampire can burn this card to reduce the cost of combat by 1 blood. 4 Hall of Mirrors, only usable during the first round of combat, gives you maneuver. And this vampire can burn 1 blood to cancel the opposing minion strike card as it is played, and its cost is not paid. The minion chooses another strike. A vampire can play only 1 Hall of Mirrors at superior each combat. So 4 Illusionary Resources, so +1 stealth action, it's unique. Put this card in play with 1 counter. During your unlock phase, a ready vampire with chemistry you control can move 1 blood to this card. You can burn X counters to reduce bleed against you by X, as above, but it comes into play with 2 counters. So nice little, I guess, bit of protection. So 4 Priority Contract for Assamites. Master, unique contract, trifle. Choose a ready Assamite you control. Put this card on a minion controlled by your prey. The chosen Assamite can enter combat with +1 stealth. If the attached minion is about to leave the ready region, you can burn this card to gain 3 pull. So 2 Rewildings, burn a location and burn 2 pull from its controller, with a nice little quote. Rise of the Fallen, again another card we only seem to have 1 of. +1 stealth action, requires an infernal minion, it's unique. Put this card in play, your prey burns 1 pull after resolution of each action, during which you have burned corruption counters. Any Methuselah can burn a vampire they control with corruption counters during the unlock phase to burn this card. 4 Sanguine Entrapment, only usable before range is determined. Vampire can play only 1 Sanguine Entrapment each round. Opposing minion cannot strike, or dodge this round I guess, and cannot strike until the combat ends. Scowled, only 1 of them. +1 stealth action, requires a non-titled Gangrel with capacity 5 or more. It's unique. Put this card on Gangrel and unlock them. The non-titled Gangrel gets +2 votes in referendums called by a Gangrel. An older non-titled Gangrel can steal this card as a +1 stealth directed action. So we've got 4 Suspension of Disbelief. Bleed with +1 bleed as above, except you reduce the bleed or change its target cost for 1 additional blood or life. And then Zephyr, 2 of them, only usable after resolution of an unsuccessful action. Unlock this vampire at the end of the round, whereas superior is just straight up unlock this vampire. So there you go, a little bit simpler I think than the other sets. Let's have a look at Unaligned 2. Right, so Unaligned 2, let's get going. So we've got 2 of Kyle Nguyen, she's Sabat, and 3 blood, and just the 1 icon. Count Joccolo, He's got loads of icons. He's got 10. He's a big fatty. He's independent. If he's ready after your predator or prey uses a discard phase action, you can look at that Methuselah's hand after the replacement card is drawn, if any. +1 bleed, +1 hand size. Elizabeth Demetrius, independent. Cannot... Oh, okay, so Hesha Rudaz cannot block Elizabeth. She's 4 blood. Gade, independent. Another big fatty with 10 blood pool. Independent, can enter combat with a minion as a directed action. Combat cards requiring Serpentis cost him 1 fewer blood. Glycon, independent, can enter combat with a lock minion as a directed action. 8. And quite a few icons including this Serpentis. Lega, Sabbat, Archbishop of Portal Prince. Followers of Set, controlled by other Methuselahs, cannot cast votes or ballots in referendums called by Legua. 8 blood, quite a few icons there, and obviously most of these seem to be followers of Set. Missy Shillingford, Sabbat, Archbishop of Pittsburgh, 7 blood, few icons there. Saracen, 8, lots of nice icons there. If ready during your unlock phase, you can put 1 corruption counter on a minion controlled by your prey. Prince of Sydney. Shahara al-Ashrasha, independent, 5 blood, loads of icons. And our cover photo here, Art Morgan, Camarilla Primogen. If Art is ready during your minion phase, you can unlock a werewolf you control. That's quite nice, get some werewolves in play. 8 blood there. Inyanga, loads of icons there, 9 blood. Camarilla Primogen. Allies requiring a gangrel cost Ayana 1 fewer blood or pool, and they've got +1 intercept. Mark Decker, Camarilla Prince of Milwaukee, gets an additional strength in combat with a werewolf and is +1 strength, 8 blood, lots of little icons there. Masuthana, I'm really having trouble pronouncing all these sets stuff. Okay, 10 blood, nice big fatty, independent. After a minion in combat with them leaves the ready region, you gain 1 pool, and they're +2 strength, so they're a right beat down person. Rosa Hernandez, independent, gets +1 stealth when employing retainers, and 7 blood. Xavier, Gangrel Justicar. You can unlock Xavier after a referendum called by him passes. Loads and loads of icons, quite a few at Superior. 10 blood. Bez Dunson, independent. After Bez leaves the ready region, discard 2 cards at random. Ooh, that's not so good, but they're only 2 blood. Dominic Giovanni, independent, 4 blood. Dr. Oliver Gannett, independent. Allies and retainers require necromancy or Giovanni, cost Oliver 1 fewer blood or pool, 6 blood. Enzo Giovanni, Pentax Board of Directors, independent. During the polling step of any political action, Enzo can burn 1 blood to get +4 votes against the referendum. If the referendum fails, your prey burns a pool, 8 blood, and loads of icons. Lysandra, lots of superior icons there. You and Lysandra can play cards requiring a Samedi or a Ventru and Tribu as if they were of that clan. +1 stealth, 9 blood. Lupo, independent. If Lupo is ready during your unlock phase, another ready Giovanni you control can gain a blood, 6 blood. Madeline, independent. After a minion in combat with Madeline leaves the ready region, their controller burns a pool. They've got 9 blood, lots of superior icons. Martino de la Passagila. Equipment costs Martina 1 fewer blood, 7, and mostly superior. Salvatore, independent, 5 blood. Oh, another Winter Lich from one of the other sets, but only one of them. And we've seen that before. They've got 7 blood and do all sorts of weird things with changelings. Claudio, I believe we had them as well. And Busca, so we've seen them before, so I won't go into detail about them. So 4 blights, Needing necromancy, only usable before range is determined. A vampire can play only one blight each round. Opposing minion gets -1 strength as above, and this combat the opposing minion cannot use additional strikes or presses to continue. Funeral Rake, so 4 funeral wakes, costs 1 blood there. Usable by lock vampire, unlock a mummy, wraith or zombie ally you control, unlock up to 2 mummy wraiths or zombie allies you control. Gianna de Caneto, unique wraith with 2 life, 1 strength, 1 bleed. Only one of them, sadly. If another minion you control is in combat, Gianna can lock and burn herself to burn an equipment on the opposing minion, or lock during the normal strike resolution to inflict 1 unpreventable damage on the opposing minion. Gift of Proteus, 4 of them. +1 stealth action. Play this card on the Gangreal with any number of cards requiring Protean from your hand, face down and out of play. You can look at these at any time. You can play these cards as if from your hand. Burn this card if it has no cards on it. A vampire can have only 1 Gift of Proteus. That's maybe quite a nice way of going through your deck. Oh my word. Giulio Giovanni Abruzzini. So a wraith with 1 life, 0 strength, 0 bleed. If you control is in combat with a Giovanni, what that is, you can lock before range is determined to set the range too close. In memory of 2 lands, 2 of those. It's a master card unique. Put this card in play with 1 counter for each follower of set and a mummy you control. During an action you can burn a counter from this card to give your mummy +1 bleed and strength. Or strength, sorry. Burn this card once it has no counters. Nar Sheptha, unique wraith with 1 life. Whilst this vampire is in combat, you get +2 hand size, and your opposing minion is considered the acting minion. Ophidian Gaze, 4 of those. Reaction. Reduce a bleed by 2. Only usable during a political action after blocks are declined. Cancel an action modifier card as it is played, and its cost is not paid. Oh, another Rise of the Fallen. Sarteta, a unique mummy with 2 life, 2 strength, 1 bleed. During an action, you can lock to give a follower of set you control stealth, intercept, or bleed. If she's burned, shuffle her into her owner's library. So that's quite a nice little card, but obviously you need to have followers of set. Serpent's Numbing Kiss, 4 of those. So strike, combat ends, as above, and if the range is close, this vampire burns 1 blood to put this card on the opposing minion and lock them. The attached minion does not unlock as normal. Burn this card during their unlock phase. Spiritual Guidance, 4 of those. A vampire can play only 1 Spiritual Guidance each combat. Play a combat card from your ash heap as if it was from your hand. If that card would be burned instead, remove it from the game. Thing, 4 of those. +1 stealth action, add 2 blood to a Gangreal in your uncontrolled region. Oh, that's pretty nice. Velvet Tongue, the last card, 4 of those. So, this card here, only usable during the polling step of a political action. Put 1 corruption counter on a minion casting votes or ballots in this referendum. However, at superior, only usable during the polling step. Minions with any corruption counters cannot cast votes or ballots during this referendum. So there you go, that is a look at all of the cards from the most recent Kickstarter. They've got a whole load of unpronounceable words and also a whole load of extra little fiddly rules which I'm not so familiar with, like the icons and stuff. But if you're a veteran, no doubt you're cursing my mispronunciation and saying, why aren't you talking about that icon? That icon's really cool. Anyway, these cards are definitely for someone who's really invested in VTES. I think if you're wanting to get into the game, start with the starter set, make sure you really like it, and then you can start looking at all these cards. But these are going to give you loads of extra deck building opportunities and expands the sort of setting of the world of darkness that Vampire is set in. And yeah, I think Black Chantry have done a pretty good job. These cards feel really good. They look very similar to the stuff that I've got already, and I've got a whole load of other cards to mispronounce and go through at some stage, so keep an eye out for more Vampire coverage, and until the next video, happy gaming.